Hey everyone, good morning. I'm Chaitra Shivram. I work on marketing operations strategy at Nutanix, and I'm super excited to be here at MOpza. I think this event, as we all know, brings the best kind of marketing ops nerds together. So glad to be here.
And I'm Lauren Murray. I'm a customer success manager at Openprise. I'm excited for this session. Good morning.
So over the next 30 minutes, I'll be walking everyone through optimizing lead journey. I want to make this session actionable, so feel free to take notes, snap pictures, and we'll have Q&A at the end. OK. Let's start with the big picture. So as we continue to grow and scale, one of the key challenges we faced as a company was managing the increasing complexity of our lead journey. And we all know in today's environment, we are asked to do more with less. There's tighter budgets, expanding teams, and an increasing demand for efficiency. So as we expanded, we recognized that relying on an array of disconnected tools was limiting our ability to scale efficiently. With multiple enrichment tools, different workflows, and handoffs across teams and systems, we started seeing areas within our lead management process that could be optimized. Now, all these inefficiencies, they were resulting in slower lead handling or occasional misassignments and manual intervention where automation should have been in place. And this issue was only compounded by incomplete and inconsistent data, which affects everything, right? It affects scoring and segmentation, routing, and territory assignments. So we knew that we wanted to bring in a solution that is going to help us consolidate, scale, and streamline our lead management process effectively. And we partnered with Openprise to automate intelligently, simplify our workflows, and to optimize our lead journey. So our goal was to make sure we drive cleaner data, faster routing, and ultimately better results. Now, let's take a look at what the landscape looked like before we introduce all these changes and understand what we were solving for. So our lead management process had some serious growing pains. Like leads were most often missing titles, their company data, which made it hard to prioritize or route them correctly. We also struggled with lead-to-account mismatches. Leads weren't always tied to the right accounts, which made it hard to assign ownership, cause a lot of rework, and also delayed response times. And on top of that, like I mentioned, junk and disqualified records were only cluttering our CRM. It was amplifying the issue. It was wasting valuable sales cycle. And when territory shifted, these changes were handled through spreadsheets or ticket queues, which isn't exactly a recipe for agility. So all these issues were causing a lot of friction, was delaying our response times, and distracting our teams from high-value work. So we wanted definitely a more smarter and an automated way to manage our entire lead journey, from capture to sales ready. So how did we fix it? We built what we call our holding tank. It's an intelligent staging process within Openprise. Now, think of it as a quality checkpoint for inbound leads. Before anything reaches Salesforce or hits sales, we make sure it is cleaned, enriched, validated, and scored. So the goal is to make sure that only high quality and sales-ready leads make it through the funnel. Now, how does this work? So within Holding Tank, we've created multiple processes. Like we have a process for data cleaning and standardization. So every record that enters the system gets standardized and enriched. So all the missing details are filled in from trusted data sources. Now this will help ensure that we are creating a consistent foundation from day one. And then we have a process for segmentation and disqualification, where we apply rules to filter out the noise. Like all the off-target, invalid records gets flagged and filtered out, and only the rest are segmented and matched to our ideal customer profile. Within Holding Tank, we've automated our lead-to-account matching and scoring. so that every lead gets matched to the right account. And again, this will help us ensure there's ownership accuracy and makes our routing much cleaner and faster. And lastly, we have territory automation as well within Holding Tank, so that once a lead is qualified, it reaches the right theater or region rep, again, eliminating the need for spreadsheets or manual ticket queues. So the result is a much faster, cleaner, and more predictable funnel where both our sales and marketing teams are aligned on what ready actually implies. Now let's unpack the first stage of Holding Tank, that is standardization and enrichment, because this is where good data hygiene begins. So we start by identifying all net new leads with responses. We associate them with the recent campaign data so that we know how these records came into the system, like was it an asset download, a webinar, or something else. And before we take any other action, we check if there's been any prior activity on this lead. So we want to make sure that we're not reprocessing something that's already been handled. Now, this will eliminate duplication and unnecessary enrichment cycle. Now, once we've confirmed that our leads are net new, we start cleaning them. We standardize their titles, their regions, company data, to make sure that data is consistent across systems. And then we move on to enrichment. So this is where we pull in all the missing details, and we do that using Zoom Info. So this again helps create that leads have a complete profile. Now after this, we will normalize formats. We will standardize a phone number globally or tag all the newly appended and enriched fields so that they're transparent. Now by the time the lead exits this stage, it's clean, complete, and consistent, which is a reliable foundation for everything that follows. Now that our leads are clean, we move on to segmentation and disqualification. So this is where we decide who moves forward and who doesn't. So we start by validating all active and relevant records. We fix any inconsistent fields, and we also make sure that the job title is filled in. So this makes sure that every record has a complete professional profile, and then we start segmenting. We segment them by their job title, job level, function or subfunction, which will help us assign records with persona. Now these persona tie directly to our ideal customer profile, which helps us understand which records truly fit our target audience. And we also make sure company data is cleaned within this stage, again, making sure organization names and domains are consistent. And for the records that don't fit our ideal customer profile, we tag them as riffraff. They could be student emails or records with irrelevant job titles or non-business addresses. So flagging them is going to help ensure that we're not cluttering our scoring or any of the CRM systems downstream. Now the outcome of this step is a funnel that is focused, high quality, and is perfectly aligned with who we want to engage. So next, we have one of the crucial processes, that's lead to account matching. This is where we make sure that every lead lands under the right account umbrella. So we start by standardizing company data on this stage. Make sure that their domain, the geography, everything is standardized and consistent. We filter out any free email domains like Yahoo, Gmail. They don't necessarily belong in our B2B funnel. And then we apply the match logic. So we use a combination of an organization's name, their geography, their domain to find an exact account match. And when these aren't available, we apply fuzzy matching logic to find the next best match. Now we also handle our channel and non-channel accounts separately, meaning we try to match our leads to channel accounts first. And we do this because a majority of our revenue flows through partners. So we want to ensure there is right prioritization and also the right routing rules are applied. So at the end of this step, we are providing sales with complete visibility into the right account relationships. We're helping provide cleaner reports and also making sure that there is zero confusion over ownership. All right. Then now that our leads are cleaned and matched to an account, it's time to calculate their fit score. Now, fit scoring tells us how closely a lead aligns to their ideal customer profile. So within this stage, we calculate several component scores. Now, each of these is looking at different dimension. Like we have an industry score that tells us how closely the lead aligns to our ideal customer profile. And then we have marketing function and job function and job level score, which tells us which function the leads belong to, like are they marketing, IT, sales, and also how senior they are. Then we have a marketing type score, which tells us how closely the record aligns to the right market segments. And lastly, we have a pyramid account score, which is an indicator for strategic or high value accounts. Now, each of these scores contribute to a final and composite fit score, which is a single, easy to read metric, telling us if the leads are worth prioritizing. Now, this score also helps our sales and marketing teams focus their energy first on the most promising prospects, ensuring there is quality over quantity. Now, a great fit doesn't mean much without engagement. So this is where behavior scoring comes into picture. Our behavior score tells us how active or engaged a lead is. So we look at their campaign data and interactions to determine this. So we start by collecting all the recent campaign data, and then we clean the duplicates, and we retain only the most recent response for each record. So this will help ensure that we are calculating score based on their most current intent. Now then we use a combination of the engagement type, the tactic, the response details to determine how these records engaged with us. And we combine this with our existing scoring models like market or engagement score to create a unified and an accurate behavior score. Now, after calculating the score, we check if the records have crossed an engagement threshold, which will indicate that they're showing all the strong intent signals and are ready for prioritization. So this step provides a clean list of warm and active leads that's ready for sales follow-up. Now, with fit and behavior score, we can make sure that we are routing intelligently, not just quickly. And we've also automated territory assignments within Holding Tank, meaning we use Salesforce account data to tag the right region, sub-region, and theater to a lead. This will help us with routing. So now that our leads are matched to an account, have a territory assigned, and scored, it's time to route them. So our routing adapts dynamically based on the engagement, also the lead score, meaning leads that respond to high-touch campaigns, they are sent straight to sales for follow-up. Whereas leads from a channel-led account, they get routed based on their lead and account score thresholds. So if they don't meet the threshold, they'll simply be added to a nurture stream for continued engagement. So similarly, we've set up routing for every record, even for records that don't have matched account, to make sure that no record gets misassigned. Now, this end-to-end territory automation has helped ensure that there is no more manual reassignments, all the ticket chaos of the past, and make sure that every qualified record reaches the right owner quickly. So to manage all this efficiently, we've structured a holding tank into 3 distinct lanes. Now, each lane is tailored to handle a specific type of record. Lane 1 handles all net new leads. So the leads go through all the different processes that we've just covered before they get tagged as marketable or pass to sales. And then lane 2 covers existing contacts which are showing new activity. So within this lane, we will recalculate the fit and behavior score, and we'll enrich them with 6 Sense insights and sync back the updated score to Salesforce. On lane 3 handles all existing leads with new responses. It's similar to lane 2. It has same enrichment and scoring logic, but there's also additional disqualification and ownership tagging because essentially they're leads. So together, these 3 lanes have helped ensure that we process everything, net new records, re-engaged or active, and make sure we're processing all the records with precision, speed, and zero duplication. So now Lauren's going to talk about territory.
I am here for a reason. I'm not just Chaitra's disco ball. I'm here to talk about territory management. Like you said, they have such a specific way that they're routing their routing their records. And so we need a distinct way to route them without several spreadsheets and having leads, take hours to run or to route. And so they have 3 distinct stages. We detect a change in their routing rules or in their personnel. This economy, people are changing, people are getting promoted. So we need to know when those changes happen, and we need to know where those leads now belong. And then the second phase is to cascade them down. They need to route them without having to manually touch anything, changing things in Salesforce, things like that. And then we need to confirm this. People need to know if they are now the new owner. So we stamp that in a log, and we have a historical list of every time that lead has changed and who it belongs to and why, based on their routing rules. Okay, so how do we do this? We have one singular reference source. This is what we use. This is our point of truth. We have this instead of version 1 of a routing sheet, or 2024 versus 225 or 2025. We take that, we ingest that into Openprise, and that's where everything happens. We have all of their rules based on their regions and their theaters, and however those change, all of those rules are in Openprise. We use that matching logic to route to the territory owners, however those change. And then automatically, that runs continuously. Not every hour, not every day. That is just a continuous run, however that changes, and that updates Salesforce automatically.
Awesome.
Returning to disco ball.
So what's been the impact? We've seen about 70% improvement in rep-to-record alignment, ensuring that every qualified lead reaches the right owner quickly. Our reassignments and leakages have also dropped significantly, and our speed to lead is definitely much faster, meaning that sales connect with leads while they're still warm. And we've cut down on the CRM clutter, making sure we're filtering out all the junk and the irrelevant records before they go anywhere near Salesforce. And my favorite outcome has been the countless hours of manual work that we have saved. So with automation doing the heavy lifting, our ops team can focus their energy on strategic or high-value initiatives rather than data firefighting. So in short, we're driving cleaner data, faster routing, and better outcomes, which was our goal from the beginning. So our holding tank has definitely transformed the way we manage our leads and move them across the organization. So a few lessons learned along the way, and they come from, honestly, trial and error. So start by normalization standard. Clean email, geos, titles. Sounds super basic, right? But if you miss this step, every other automation step becomes a game of whack-a-mole. And separate your fit and behavior scores. They serve totally different purposes, and if mixing them will only give you noisy signals. And another one that we've learned is stage gate beats one big push every single time. So small and controlled steps will help you build trust, will also help catch issues before they scale. And also keep your junk and competitor list regional, because a lead that's irrelevant in US might be treated as gold in APJ. And finally, policy tables over spreadsheet. They aren't glamorous, but definitely scalable. And always make sure you have an audit and a rollback plan, because we all know something will break at some point. So if you're thinking this sounds good and wondering how to get started, here's a blueprint. So first step is to define your ideal customer profile and your fit attributes. Get crystal clear on what good means to your business, and draft your behavior weights by channel, because an engagement on webinar is very different from a demo request. And I keep stressing this a lot, but normalize everything. This is your data hygiene foundation. And stand up your competitor and junk list. And also, don't try to boil the ocean. Pilot your lead to account matching on a small segment first. And after you've tested that, you can set conversion gates and routing thresholds. And always externalize your territory assignments. It'll help you be consistent and transparent. Now follow this blueprint and you'll have a smart and an automated funnel that will help you win your sales team's trust. So hope this was helpful.
Any questions?
One is all the steps you do to normalize and figure out who they are before it goes into Salesforce. How long would you say that takes? Is it minutes or 10 minutes or how much time are you?
So it would be minutes because our entire holding tank, the entire list of processes that are listed, it takes about, at best, 30 minutes. And sometimes, 45 minutes for a lead to get cleaned, enriched, scored, and everything. So it's few minutes.
Okay. They try to get them in 5 or 10 when they come in or something. Also,
Okay.
the other question I had was when you decide it doesn't meet the profile and you don't want to waste the salespeople's time, do you have any kind of process for an automated email to those people, sorry, it's not a fit, or do you just do nothing?
They're added to our nurture stream so that it's not like we abandon them. We do send nurture streams so that there's continued engagement.
Okay, but if you're asking for a demo and you're not going to give them a demo because they don't qualify.
Like we don't route them to sales, so yeah.
Yeah.
Can you go over a little bit like what happens after it's routed to AE and stuff like that? Because what I found in the past is like the conversion rates are very low if you don't give them the opportunity to schedule like right away. Just curious what happens after the fact, and what have you done for like those conversion rates for like people to actually reply and get on the demo and all that good stuff?
So if I'm understanding your question correctly, you want to know what happens after we route them to sales. Okay. So what's the other part of the question, sorry?
But because in this workflow, are you showing a calendar at the end, like for them to schedule a meeting for a demo, or like you're routing in the holding tank and all that stuff with the territories? What happens? Like, are you just sending an email to the?
They get notified that they're the owner, and then they take whatever their sequence is after that.
And then what's like the conversion rate for like your sales team to like when they're reaching out for them to actually get them on a meeting and book the meeting and stuff like that?
Oh. I can get back to you on that. I'm not sure about the conversion rates. Okay.
So a lot of the data management campaigns are now done in Openprise. Does that mean that what you would typically do in Marketo is now moved more to Openprise, where you have more flexibility and power of?
So yeah, majority of our enrichment and data cleaning is within Openprise.
So is there still much left in Marketo, or do you see that a lot of that has moved to Openprise?
Yeah, it's definitely moved to Openprise. Like we do have a Marketo engagement score. I mean, that's on Marketo, but the majority of it processes is on Openprise. Yeah.
How long did it take for you guys to get alignment within the organization, decide this was the direction you wanted to go in, and then implement?
Oh, so all these changes, they've been implemented for a while now. Like we started off with manual, everything manual, right, long back. And then we started introducing automation. So, I mean, it's not like we changed everything overnight. It's something that you do step by step, right? You first introduce enrichment, and then you think about a scoring model, and you include that. So everything is done in different stages. I don't know if that answered your question.
Roughly timeline.
Oh, timeline. Yeah, it did take us, I don't know if you're familiar how long, because we implemented this long back, like I said, so.
It was, usually 6 to 8 weeks to do something like this, but all together. But there's testing involved. When people are aligned on their end goal, though, we can, at Openprise, reverse engineer that and be like, all right, this is how we can get you there. And so that is usually the hardest part, is organizations deciding where they actually do need to end up.
Can you speak more about the audit log and rollback plan that you use? Is that in Openprise? How is that populated? Just what are the details there?
So We tag everything using fields. Like for instance, like we calculate fit score. That is captured on Openprise fields again. And we, for example, we do segmentation. It's captured on Openprise fields. So at every stage, we're making sure that these fields are not blank before we go to the next step. So that way, we are auditing every stage, making sure data is consistent, data exists. If data is blank, we fill it with default values before we proceed next. So we're basically adding a layer of check at every process.
Was it about
So
standardization or for routing specifically?
For routing specifically, I was thinking more like in 2 weeks, if you realize that something has gone wrong, where can you look back and say, oh, this is what happened, we made this change, and then this happened, so.
Yeah. For instance, I'll give you an example. Recently, some of our records weren't getting routed to sales. So we could find that out because we knew at which step they were failing. So like for instance, they were failing because they were missing territory assignments, like their region, sub-region, theater was missing. And that way we know, okay, they're failing because these values are missing. That's why they're not getting routed. So let's make sure that's updated first. And if they're not matched to an account, they won't have territory assigned. So let's make sure we match them to an account and get territory assigned. So yeah, again, it goes back to adding those checks at every stage. That'll help you understand where it's failing.
So in our audit log, we have the reason why it's matched or if it hasn't matched. A lot of companies like to have a catch-all. If it is missing a sub-region, then just assign it to that, Salesforce API user or something like that. So we can do that, and it just tells you why, because that is a question we get from sales all the time. Why didn't I get this lead? Well, you spelled, untied states instead of United States, so it didn't route.
When it comes to the data flow between your map and your CRM, so for us, our map goes directly into the CRM. Would you use something like Openprise as like a bridge in between? So instead of the data going directly from, I think you said Marketo, to like maybe Salesforce, it goes like Marketo, Openprise, then Salesforce. Is that how it's set up?
So it is set up to flow from Openprise to Salesforce. So our leads, we do a lot of list upload on Openprise as well for all our boot camps or seminars. And then there all the process happens and then it goes to Salesforce. It'll also create the campaign member for us.
Okay, thank you.